K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com. K98talk.com, a leader in internet radio. So grab your seatbelts and take the ride of your life on K98talk.com.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period.
This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Oh, welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Don't expect us to admit a mistake. We're paying off election debts to those on the take. Attorney General's lying even while
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
All right, folks. Well, happy Tuesday evening. It is Tuesday, February the 10th, 2015, and I'm coming to you live from the K98Talk.com studios. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, I have apparently been placed in some sort of a bad boy box, according to Twitter. Tried to tweet out some stuff about the show upcoming and the fact that we're not going to be doing the Wake Up America show this evening, but we do now have rights to start rebroadcasting Real Serious Nonsense, which is another Polititainment exclusive. For those of you who enjoy, according to me, and the Unapologetically Bunny show right here on K98 Talk, we're going to have a special sneak preview of the Real Serious Nonsense show, of course, produced by Polititainment, originally aired on 405, and now we have rebroadcast rights. Haven't decided on a set day for them yet. I don't think it's going to be Tuesdays, because like I said, normally we do 2 shows back-to-back, but for tonight, from 7 to 8, you'll get to hear them, other than me and Denny C. He had a birthday party to go to, and I didn't really feel like trying to do 2 hours with not enough prep time. Co-host shows are one thing. When you do an hour by yourself and then another hour with a co-host is one thing, but sometimes 2 hours by yourself, especially when you're working full-time, is a bit of a pain. So we'll have them up, and then at 8 o'clock we'll go right into The Right War with Liz and Taylor, and then, of course, we will have the Liz Harrison show, and then probably around midnight we'll go into one of the Late Night in the Midlands episodes, so something will be replaying there for a little bit. But we are still working out some content requirements to get some stuff coming to you guys more during the day. You may have noticed it lately. We've been doing some replays of the Family Factor shows as well as the show that airs on Sundays. We are working on bringing more content to you. Eventually, at some point, we want to get this stuff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even if it's not content exclusively carried by Tog, because, you know, when you're trying to build a network and a station, sometimes you got to work together with some other folks to make things happen. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as I go live, somebody starts trying to call. Oh, well, that's what I have voicemail for. All right, so lots of stuff on tap today, and honestly, back to the Twitter timeout, I think somebody might have got offended, because I finally just asked today after I saw the whole, give me just a moment, I'm getting some feedback here. Because I finally just asked today, after I saw the fact that the ISIS folks had sent some information about the American lady that was killed. I finally, and they sent the information to her parents, because apparently her parents had been asking for some kind of proof. But yeah, so apparently they decided to send a bunch of stuff to them on social media through like an instant message of some kind to show proof that it was their daughter that died. I'm wondering if I didn't get kicked into some sort of timeout box because I finally just asked if we could start nuking all the radicals. And, I'm sorry if that makes people think that I'm an ass or whatever it is that they want to think, but, back to this whole thing, that Obama liked to, the other day when he was all up in the business about the Crusades. And yes, we have a clip about that, so we'll be playing it here in just a second before I go on my little tirade here. So let's go ahead and play that now, and then I'll let you know where I'm going here. Because I have lots of clips today, some of them older, some of them newer, but lots of things, because apparently now he's decided all of a sudden he wants to start talking like he's tough. And I'm curious to see what happens, but especially when he's out in public saying crap like this.
President Obama making a shocking comparison at the National Prayer Breakfast, equating Muslim extremism to Christianity.
And lest we get on our high horse and think this is unique to some other place, remember that during the Crusades and the Inquisition, people committed terrible deeds in the name of Christ. In our home country, slavery and Jim Crow all too often was justified in the name of Christ.
Well, our next guest is appalled by this analogy. Bishop E.W. Jackson from the Called Church and the founder of Stand joins us now. Bishop, thanks for joining Fox and Friends here.
Thanks for having me, Elizabeth.
What place did Christianity and Christ have in that equation yesterday at the National Prayer Breakfast?
Elizabeth, I have a message for the president with all due respect to him and to the office. Mr. President, if you don't want to give terrorists a recruitment tool, instead of closing Guantanamo Bay, frankly, sir, you ought to close your mouth, because you just gave them a gigantic propaganda tool. They called us crusaders, and you've just confirmed it. Mr. President, we're not on our high horse. What we are is on high alert. And the American people would like for once to know that you're willing to defend Christianity and defend America instead of defending Islam.
Bishop, you served in the Marine Corps for 3 years. You're a veteran. When you talk about propaganda, the only thing propaganda does right now is help recruit for ISIS and strengthen the enemy. For our veterans right now and our military personnel, how much more danger did those words actually put our service members in?
Oh, I think he's given them a gigantic recruitment tool. He's told them, once again, he's apologized for America. He's conjured up the image of crusaders. And he's basically justified exactly what Osama bin Laden was saying, that we are encroaching on them. I would remind the president that the Crusades began in 1096 as a response to Islamic aggression and the fact that they had conquered the Holy Land and they were oppressing Eastern Christians. And there was a response to that. So if the president is even going to cite that as an example, then he ought to get his history complete.
Well, Bishop, you just did something the president won't do. You used the word Islamic. Let me ask you this. Not only did the president not protect Christians and, in fact, really go after them, attacking them by invoking the name of Christ yesterday, some would say, but he continued on the path of not calling the enemy what it is, not saying radical Islam. Don't you believe that in not saying that, he's actually protecting radical Islam by not calling it out?
I don't know how to explain this, but this president does everything he possibly can to defend Islam and does almost nothing to defend the honor of this country. And yes, once again, he's giving them exactly what they want. And, Elizabeth, they're laughing at us because all they see it as is a sign of weakness, and America needs to operate from strength.
I want to ask you now for a strong message to Christians who feel as though they came under attack yesterday by the President of the United States. What is your word to those of faith today?
Pray for our president. I think he's deeply misguided and confused. Pray for our country. We need leaders who will defend the integrity of our nation and to continue to stand up for what you know is right.
Strong words. Bishop Jackson, we thank you for being with us today and your time.
Thank you for having me.
You got it.
All right, so there you have it. And like I said, that's not a newer clip, but it still says some rather important things, at least in my opinion. Why would the president have even bothered to go there? And I know I've talked about this a little bit, but I have to admit I've had a little bit of an epiphany over the weekend because Wasn't feeling well, so I took a break on Saturday after we did the Finding Common Ground show, and then the one that I helped produce, and then I wound up taking a break yesterday. But the one thing that keeps going through my mind, and it's something that I can't seem to get rid of, is, because you have all of these people that keep talking about, well, obviously he can't be a Muslim because he's gone to an Americanized church, and he's done this, and he's done that. In his words, he keeps saying by his words that he's not. But look at his actions. Look at where his heart lies. He just, not too long ago, slammed the Bible and praised the Quran. He's done that multiple times. He said words like the fact that there were basically Muslim founding fathers. I mean, in his own words, the Muslim faith helped build this country. So, no, I don't know if you look at the words and put them in full context. I don't know if he's honestly ever said the words, hey, I'm a Muslim, look at me over here. But can you not look at his actions? What do we tell our children? Actions always speak louder than words. So he can say over and over again, no, I'm not a Muslim, I'm a practicing Christian, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But look at what he's actually doing. He's come down on their side 9 times out of 10. And I know that because I just heard about it on the drive home. I haven't been able to find any proof of it yet, which is why we're not finding any clips. But I did hear one of the other local hosts here talking about the fact that apparently all of a sudden Obama's starting to talk the talk and walk the walk about fighting ISIS. Again, like I said, I haven't been able to find any proof of that yet, but I would be really surprised if he is saying those kind of things if it ever, at any point in time, really begins to hold water. Because simply put, every time the chips are down, he falls on the side of Islam. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm just simply trying to be honest and make you guys take a look, because it's time that we take a long, hard look at this. Because he says one thing and he does another, and he does it time and time again. He's done it since the beginning of his administration. Before he was even sworn in, he talked about how he was going to reach across the aisle. He never did that. He talked about how he was going to have the most transparent administration ever. He has, but not in the way that we thought he meant. He's had transparently the most corrupt administration ever, at least since the Nixon administration, and maybe even worse than then. And time again, we keep giving him the benefit of the doubt, and he continues to keep giving our enemies the benefit of the doubt. And let's not be mistaken any longer. These radicals are our enemies. They want us dead. Plain and simple. Now, the simple fact of the matter is I'm still not willing to call every single Muslim a radical. I'm not willing to do that because I know some people that are Muslims. I have to admit, I still have that little scared voice inside of me that keeps pointing out the fact that that according to them, they twist scriptures that specifically tell them that it's okay to lie. They have a practice called taqiyya. Give me just a moment. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue doing this one today. Apparently, we're having some technical issues, and I know it's translating out over the air. I'm going to keep trying to go for at least another couple of minutes, but I was in a hurry, and I didn't follow normal protocols, and sometimes I forget with all the different stuff that we have running, that if I don't restart occasionally, it gets cranky. And I know it's been cutting in and out on you guys because I keep hearing it in my headset, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to continue, but for those of you who might be listening live, this show may end abruptly, and I'll be back with you tomorrow. I was running behind schedule and trying to make sure that I got started on time, and all I've managed to do is make a train wreck because I keep having to stop to fix something that I can hear in my headset. So, yeah, actually, at this point, I think I'm probably going to go ahead and shut it down for tonight. We will pick up this show tomorrow in its entirety. And sorry for everybody who's tuning in, maybe listening for the first time. I'm not usually this bad, but again, I have been off my game for the last couple of days. Now, again, don't forget, 7 o'clock, we will have the Real Serious Nonsense show for the first time ever on K98 Talk, and then we'll have some other stuff coming in behind it. And I will be back with you tomorrow night once I get some of this stuff buttoned down, because For some reason today, everything is pegged out, and I've got to find out what's causing the problem. But the good news is, unless you're listening live, you'll never know, because this episode's about to go away. You guys have a great night, and I'll be back with you tomorrow once I get this nailed down.